This is Mac OS Ken.
Phenomenal growth for iPhone. More on India's mandated smartphone app. And I guess the year is over or something. It is Wednesday, the 3rd of December. See, it's only the 3rd of December. It is Wednesday, the 3rd of December, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by OpenCase. MagSafe for iPhone perfected. Build your own holiday bundle and save at theopencase.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Pollyanna and Eeyore meet at the corner of technology and liberal arts. IDC issued a press release Tuesday raising that firm's smartphone forecast for 2025, largely thanks to iPhone. The market tracker had expected smartphone growth of 1% year-on-year. That's now been raised to 1.5%, primarily driven by accelerated performance for Apple in the holiday quarter, rapid growth in key emerging markets, and stabilization in China. IDC Senior Research Director Nabila Popal says the Cupertino company is set to have a record year in 2025. The firm expects Apple to ship roughly 247 million units for the calendar year, up about 6% over 2024. Maybe iPhone's biggest feat, though, is what it's doing in China. Popal says her firm had been looking for a 1% decline in smartphones in China in 2025. iPhone growth will now push smartphones in China up 3%. But wait, there's more. Popal says Apple's China success story is replicated across all regions, including the US and Western Europe, that had previously slowed down. This calendar year will not only be a record period for Apple in terms of shipments, but also in value. The firm estimates iPhone's value to Apple hitting $261 billion with a B dollars in 2025. That's up a little over 7%, according to IDC. So that's Pollyanna. Now, along comes Eeyore. IDC says 2026 smartphone growth has been revised downward from 1.2% growth to 0.9% decline due to a combination of component shortages and product cycle adjustments. Among those anticipated adjustments, rumor has Apple moving the next entry-level iPhone, presumably iPhone 18, from the fall of 2026 to the spring of 2027. IDC buys that rumor. The way they see it, that shift will pull down iOS shipments by 4.2% in 2026. Meanwhile, the component problem is the ongoing global memory shortage that's expected to constrain supply and raise prices. Not a significant problem for Apple and other Tier 1 manufacturers. Rather, IDC says it will impact low to mid-range Android devices more significantly as they remain more price sensitive. I guess if you're looking for where Apple will draw a line or take a stand, you need to look in India. I told you yesterday of that country's demand that smartphone makers, including Apple, put a government-owned cybersecurity app on smartphones they plan to sell. They'll also be required to push the app and software updates to phones already out in the wild. We're learning a bit more about that app today, and it's not overly reassuring. A piece from TechCrunch says the mandate has drawn significant backlash from privacy advocates, civil society groups, and opposition parties. Critics argue the move expands state visibility into personal devices without adequate safeguards. Now, independent of the app, though kind of running in tandem, TechCrunch says the Indian telecom industry is requiring companies that buy or trade used phones to verify every device through a central database of IMEI numbers. Though that is said to be for safety and security purposes, privacy and security concerns such as how the collected data will be stored, who will have access to it, or what safeguards will apply as the system expands, haven't been detailed. Meghna Bal, director at New Delhi-based technology think tank Essia Center, sounds two alarms. On the user privacy front, Bal says if the government intends to build such systems, they have to be backed by independent audits, strong data governance safeguards, and transparent accountability measures. Otherwise, the model puts user privacy at stake. Also, the government's move may be anti-competitive. Quoting Bal's other alarm, while the intent behind the unified platform may be protection, mandating a single government-controlled application risks stifling innovation, particularly from private players and startups who have historically driven secure, scalable digital solutions. Anyway, Apple's apparently not into it. The website for the Business Standard has a couple of industry sources indicating that Apple does not plan to comply with the directive and will tell the government it does not follow such mandates anywhere in the world as they raise a host of privacy and security issues for the company's iOS ecosystem. Those sources didn't want to say who they were, for obvious reasons. Neither Apple nor telecoms officials in the Indian government offered comment for the Business Standard report. That said, the government does seem to have felt the pushback. Early reports had said that the app was not deletable. Last night in the US, daytime in India, 9 to 5 Mac ran a piece that had telecoms officials in the Indian government saying the app is pre-installed for user protection, but for users it's completely optional. Regulators say users can decide what stays on their device. For its part, 9 to 5 Mac does not think that change will change Apple's stance against the forced installation. Speaking of pushing and pushing back, Apple really wants people who are using iOS 18 to go on and start using iOS 26.1 now. iOS 26 has been an option at the bottom of the software update section of settings since the update came out back in September. Now Mac Rumor says Apple's getting a bit more insistent. Starting yesterday, the piece says iOS 18 users who have not upgraded to iOS 26 will now see iOS 26.1 as the recommended iOS update in the Settings app. iOS 18 updates are still an option, but are now displayed at the bottom of the app. Mac Rumors says people may be hesitant to make the jump due to the negativity around liquid glass. While moving to iOS 26 isn't necessary at this point, the site figures the day is coming relatively soon. While Apple will almost definitely keep offering security updates for devices that cannot support iOS 26, people with devices that can support it will eventually have to upgrade if they want to keep getting security updates. Apple's tap to pay on iPhone has found a new home. The Cupertino company issued a press release Tuesday saying that the contactless payment solution has made its way to Singapore. The service launched yesterday with support for 5 payment platforms, including Adyen, Faiyu, HitPay, Revolut, Stripe, and Zoho. The service in Singapore supports Apple Pay and other digital wallets. It can also handle contactless credit and debit cards from leading payment networks in Singapore, including American Express, JCB, MasterCard, UnionPay, and Visa. More news in a moment, but first a word from today's sponsor, OpenCase, and their Build Your Own Holiday Bundles. Looking for a gift for someone that they will use all year round? I seriously think that's OpenCase and an accessory chosen just for them. Open case is what it sounds like, an iPhone case with an opening on the back, helping keep MagSafe accessories firmly in place. It works with a ton of third-party accessories, though they've got their own to offer as well. I know I go on about it, but I am so into the MagSafe wallet from OpenCase. My ID, health card, and one physical credit card go everywhere my phone goes, which is everywhere I go. For nearly 2 years, OpenCase has been my case and my wallet practically every day. Find out why and do it at a discount. Build your own holiday bundle for someone on your list, for yourself, or for both of you. They're running a special right now at theopencase.com. Buy 2 items, get 10% off. Buy 3 items, get 15% off. Buy 4 items or more, get 20% off. A case and a charger maybe, a couple of cases and a wallet. Build your bundle with any number of products in any combination. Sale items can be included in the bundle, giving you savings on top of savings, but only till the middle of this month. This offer ends on the 15th of December. Make your iPhone or someone else's new this holiday season with OpenCase. Build your holiday bundle and save at theopencase.com. It is MagSafe for iPhone, perfected at theopencase.com. Apple has pledged more relief for more disasters. On the heels of last week's pledge to support recovery efforts in the Hong Kong apartment fires, a piece from 9 to 5 Mac says the company will also make donations to relief and rebuilding efforts across several Asian countries. The piece says torrential rains across Thailand and neighboring countries have reportedly affected millions of people, claiming the lives of over 1,400. Though not soliciting donations from the public, Apple does plan to offer resources on its own. Apple CEO Tim Cook hit social media on Tuesday saying, "Storms across Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Sri Lanka have devastated communities. At Apple, we're thinking of everyone affected and will be donating to relief and building efforts on the ground." We'll wrap the day with companies wrapping the year already, starting with Apple Music. A piece from Mac Rumors says the full Replay 2025 experience is now available in the Apple Music app, allowing listeners to reflect on their listening habits over the past year. There's like another month left in 2025, right? I mean, it would be great to not count December on the music thing. I really don't need to hear Christmas music for the other 11 months. Still, a whole lot can happen in a single month. Oh Lord by Foxy Shazam was my number 1 song for 2025, something that I know happened in 3 weeks' time. Also, since a given year's recap starts in January, there wasn't really a huge reveal in my end-of-year list. Okay, that's not quite true. My number 1 album, Tchaikovsky, The Seasons by Yun-Chun Lim. Yeah, I knew I had listened to it a lot. I did not realize it was my number 1 album. Mac Rumor says there are 2 main components of the Replay 2025 experience. First, there's a full year-end playlist containing the Apple Music songs that you listened to the most over the past year, as well as a highlight reel with images and a video that are designed to be shared on social media. If you're an Apple Music user and haven't checked it out, Replay 25 is living large under the Apple Music Home tab. It's also accessible through browsers at replay.music.apple.com. Personalized as things can be, it's not all about you, you know. In addition to your replay, a separate piece from Mac Rumors says Apple Music has shared several more encompassing year-end charts. Charts featured in the piece include Top Songs of 2025 Global, Top 100 Global Radio, because there's apparently a difference, Top 100 Shazam Tracks, Top 100 Most Read Lyrics, and the Top 100 Sing Songs, people using the Sing feature in Apple Music to sing along. Of course, they have the year's Top 100 from various countries, and boy did the one for the US make me feel out of touch. While I recognized the names of most of the artists, I only knew one song. It's a cover of the song Fast Car by an artist named Luke Combs from his album Getting Old. I know, it's not all about me. Apple Music users can check out the plethora of Top 100 charts in the New tab on Apple Music. You know, I could go for a tab. Or a Fresca. Seriously, with 1/12 of the year left, everybody's doing end-of-the-year lists. Amazon Music's 2025 Delivered is now here to compete with Spotify Wrapped, according to TechCrunch, as if they hadn't even heard of Apple Music. YouTube claims to have posted a recap feature, supposed to be available in the US and Canada, though I couldn't find mine, and I know I'm in one of those two countries. I even got a year-end recap from Duolingo. Kinda crushing it right now. Of course, I only started in October. Anyway, the good news, I guess, since everybody's recapping the year that they say already was, I'm assuming we just get to take the rest of this year off. Tell you what, you start, and let me know how that goes. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and sponsored by OpenCase. Build your own holiday bundle today and save at theopencase.com. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can find me on Mastodon, macOSken at mastodon.social. You can also send me an email, info@macosken.com. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Leonard likes this post.